Hello, Martha.
Hiya.
Can you hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. Perfect.
Yep.
How are you feeling today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm also good. I'm also good. I like your necklaces. They're quite cool.
Oh, thanks. They look much brighter in the camera, I think, with the light.
Maybe they look a bit tangled. Maybe no, but it look cool. So I had a look at your website. I mean, from what I understood, you are a background noise reduction platform tool. And I mean, I saw some of the examples you have there, and if that's how it actually works, then I mean that's quite impressive. Let me take my head off to you guys because I mean it is quite cool. But I mean, you'll know better than anyone. So if you can just explain me a bit what it is that you do, and I mean, obviously what it is that you're looking for, that would be great. So I mean, the stage is yours. Go
Yeah,
for it.
so I mean, I think the demos on the website really do actually
Mm,
show like what it is and what it does. It's essentially bidirectional voice isolation. So it gets rid of the noise in on both sides of the call, even if only one of
okay.
us has the software, essentially. So
Do you know how
but yes, it'll
the
get rid of
how,
my noise for you as well as your noise for me, basically.
okay, okay.
It just like clocks into the voice on the whole call and just
Mm,
shuts off everything else.
okay.
Um, and it's an AI software, so it can like learn more and more and more, which is what we're
Mm,
doing now, teaching it more and more and
okay.
more. We mainly target call center industry.
Okay.
Um, we have already got we're already on the platform, like the marketplaces for
Mm,
like Genesis, Five9, 8x8, these come like so it's filtering out more and more and more
mm,
in terms of like reselling and partnerships. So that's really helping our growth. But we have recently lost two of our sales team
okay.
because like all for like fine reasons, just wanting to work remotely or wanting to be at home with their family. And
Mm,
so essentially we've lost capacity in terms of direct deals.
okay.
And the sort of like, yeah, the direct kind of mid-market deals,
Mm,
we're losing capacity basically.
okay. I see.
um, and I think we basically need to find a solution so that we're not like wasting our sales team's time
Mm,
qualifying leads that are then not viable at all.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I think in terms of what we'd be asking from you, the kind of
Mm,
average deal size would be sort of 7 to 10K.
mm,
Um, like very much like yeah, kind of like mid-market, like
mm-hmm. So,
medium size.
okay.
Because we've got our VP of sales is doing all the big enterprise deals, that's
Okay.
fine. Our partnerships are separately managed, that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. It's more just these like direct deals that we just need to keep coming in
Make
like
sure.
all the time.
Okay.
Because we've lost two of our people,
Mm,
they're slowing down now. We've basically got one guy doing the direct deals, and that's
okay.
like
Needs a bit of
not
backup.
exactly.
Makes sense.
Um, but yeah, so we mainly look at like call centers, main industries. We've got sort of banking,
Mm,
insurance, telecoms, utilities,
mm,
public authorities. We've done some like councils. We are moving into blue light stuff, so like mission critical, like ambulance radios and
okay.
things like that, helicopter
Okay.
radios. Um, what's the word? God, I've just lost my train of thought completely. Oh, like operation towers, for
Okay.
flights like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the actual word is. Anyway, but yeah, I think mainly in terms of this, it would be kind of like BFSI, utilities, telecoms, that
Mm.
kind of art.
Okay. But are you limited to those, or you would be open to any other kind of industries that would make sense?
I think we'd be open. I think we'd be open. I think they're our target profile just because we've got a lot of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff for
Proof,
that already.
proof of
We've
proof
got
of concept. Yeah.
we've got proof of concept.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we would be open. Like,
Okay.
I don't think we're confined to just them at
No,
all.
the reason and why I'm asking is that here at Preliminary, we're also very big on strategy. So we would be very happy to work with you to find new industries where this would make sense, or to reach out to more people other than just the industries that you've mentioned.
Hmm.
But that's what I was asking.
No,
Um,
yeah, that makes sense. That's great.
Perfect. And you said, I mean, your client base, is it mostly in the UK or are you like worldwide? How does that work?
We are worldwide, really. We have a lot in the UK, because obviously we started in the UK. We've got a lot of people in the States because we've got some people out in the States.
Mm,
So we've got like four in a team, I think, outside
okay.
in the States. Um, we've got business in Philippines. We've got business in South Africa. Basically, yeah,
Okay. And
it can be anywhere.
so we were not limited to any kind of countries. You can just go crazy, go full steam ahead and
Go
just
crazy. English speaking.
okay. That makes sense. But could it be like, for example, Netherlands? Netherlands not English speaking, but everyone speaks English, for example. Would that work or okay?
Yes, that's
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. Perfect. And then you mentioned that we would be taking care of like the 7 to 10 k deals. And what does that constitute? What's that deal? What's the difference between, let's say, a bigger value deal? Is it the size of the company? Is it
I think it's the number of seats really. Like,
okay?
so the number of like users that we'd be selling to.
Okay. So is that how it
This
works?
is
Is that how your pricing structure works? Is by number of seats?
pretty much like I think it's
Okay.
sort of our mid-market is kind of 50 to 500, I think. And
Okay.
then enterprise is 500 plus, I believe.
Okay. So it'd be targeting companies within the industries that we've mentioned from 50 to 500 employees,
50 to
basically.
500 agents, yeah.
Okay, okay. But I mean, in that case, then we probably wouldn't be targeting. I mean, we can maybe the ambulances in terms of like number of ambulances or towers, control
Mm.
towers could also
Yeah,
work.
I think the blue light stuff is like that's kind of separate because I
Okay,
don't think our sales guys really run that as much as our sort of like other teams, like our
okay,
executive team and stuff. Like they really run that stuff because it's also kind of an ongoing like
okay.
contractual thing. So I think that's kind of like
Their
I
stuff,
think
their
it's more, a
territory.
bit more like complicated of who you deal with and stuff. I think it's in terms of like you guys, I think it would be more like call centers, like
Okay.
through those industries,
And like
really.
for example, like hospitals, that kind of industry, would that make sense? Because
I think that
hospitals,
would make
yeah, like
sense.
receptions, the receptions at a hospital are also very noisy. They could definitely benefit like these kind of things.
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
perfect. And I mean, we're also happy to have a look at that and then see what industries would make sense then in that case. Perfect. And then, if you don't mind me asking, then in terms of the clients that you have, like your efforts, like how do you get these clients? Are you running any kind of efforts for lead generation? Are you running ads? Well, how does that work?
Yeah, so we do. We've got like a Google ad campaign going.
Okay,
We do various. We go to lots of events. We get a lot of leads through
okay,
events. Like Call and Contact Expo. We've got people in an event in the Philippines now. People in an event
mm,
in Berlin now.
okay,
Um, we do. We also do. We do get a lot of leads through resellers, which obviously
mm.
doesn't sound like what you guys would do,
I mean,
but that is a big way we do get
okay. We can.
leads.
I
Is
mean, we can also work, and we've worked in the past with that strategy where instead of going for the direct end user, we come for resellers that will then, if but basically if we can, if we're able to find you some good valuable partners that can then give you a steady stream of leads and customers, then that could also be a strategy. We don't have to direct necessarily go directly to the end customer, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah,
So we could
cool.
also in the strategy also include resellers, partners, and then on top of that go for the call centers, the hospitals, all of that. So I mean, so that our target audience is as broad as possible and as valuable as possible.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And
So
so go for it. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
no. So what have you worked with like tech startups before?
Definitely, we work with. I mean, we work with all kinds of companies from all kinds of industries: B2C, B2B, product based, service based. I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy to at the end in the email I'll send you an email like basically recapping everything that we've mentioned here, and I'll make sure to include all the case studies or testimonials, all
Yeah,
of that. You can have a look at that. But yes, we've worked with all kinds of companies that you can imagine. We probably worked with. Yes.
great, great,
Um,
cool.
and I mean, in terms of lead generation, and I can explain to you a bit of how we do things. We if I'm assuming that you're looking mostly for outbound. So I mean, the way we like to think about lead generation is outbound and inbound, being that inbound would be probably like SEO, ads, PR, and then outbound would be cold calling, cold email, LinkedIn. So you're mostly looking for outbound or inbound, or are you open to both even?
I think we're kind of open to both, really.
Hmm.
I don't think we're confining sort of one strategy really at all
Okay.
at this.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, the way we like to think about it, we like to think that inbound, so the SEO part of it, would be mostly a long-term solution, as to outbound would be mostly short-term. Because I mean, if you the outbound efforts would bear results like a lot quicker, and the inbound, the SEO, will take a bit of time because there's a lot of things that need to change in your website. There's a lot of takes a bit of time until Google notices those changes. So what we like to suggest is that you run them both parallelly, and then while the inbound takes place, you have the outbound giving you the leads, and then once the inbound starts giving you the leads, then you can let go of the outbound, if that makes sense. But I mean, this will obviously depend a bit on your budget, and I mean, it has other implications. In an ideal world, that's the best strategy. But obviously, we don't live in an ideal world.
Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. I can imagine that's so that's do you work by a fixed rate, or do you do it kind of by lead?
we 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 tend to work with a fixed rate. Yes, in some
Okay.
cases we offer, and we're working on a new model because there's a few clients that there's been the need to develop this new model where we can provide you for a certain amount of money. We can work basically with a pay per lead kind of structure. Yes, but we usually tend to work with a fixed amount. I mean, it depends if you want to use all the channels, but if you want to use all the channels, it'll be £5,500 per month, and we give you with as many leads as we can, as opposed to paying 2,500 for only 8. That's a difference.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
difference. But I mean,
I s
if you're open to all of them, and I mean, in this case, I think in this case, and given your particular scenario, I think outbound would be at least a good place to start. If you're not going to go for both of them at the same time, I mean, if you're going for both of them at the same time, perfect. But if not, I think it would be probably better to start with outbound, because I think it's easier to reach people if you're going for outbound in this specific case, other than it is like the SEO route. Even though, like, obviously SEO is also very important, because SEO helps building your online presence. And if you're going to be reaching out to people and bringing attention to your brand, you also want to have a good online presence, obviously, because that's the first thing people say. If you reach out, then they're going to probably look for your website, and they want it to be as cohesive as possible and as informative. And I mean, but you have a really good site. I mean, I had a quick look, and I can just, I mean, the website visually looks very good. And
mm,
in terms of SEO, it's definitely, let me put it like this: coming from a marketing agency, we've seen a lot of bad websites, and your website is not definitely not bad. I can see the meta titles are good, the keywords are in the meta description. Like, the main page is good. The only thing that I could see that needs a bit of work would be probably your linking structure and maybe the content a bit. But then the number of words and the content in the pages. But I mean, it's
mm,
not a bad start. So that's why I'm saying that. I mean, if you want to, we can start by engaging with the outbound, get a steady flow of leads. And then once you start seeing the results, if you'd like, you're always welcome to then also engage with the SEO and all of that,
yeah.
if that
Okay,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Well, so after this, are you gonna send me like a quote with the information and what it would?
Yes, obviously. Yes, I'll send you everything. But I mean, I mean, the code will only say so much. I mean, I don't know if you have time, but I can also just quickly explain to you how it would work and how we like to do things and why we do the way we do.
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
Perfect. Okay, so I mean, in terms of outbound, that's what we were discussing. The way we work and why we like to do it, we like to work with cold calling, cold email, and LinkedIn, and we can use them either independently or interdependently, so all together. And usually we like to use them together, and it works best because, I mean, let's say, for example, in this case, I think LinkedIn could be a good option because you're targeting companies and enterprise, and like, it will make sense. These are all people that are already on LinkedIn, so it makes sense. And historically, we do have a good acceptance rate on LinkedIn. Usually it's around 30%. So LinkedIn tends to work in these kind of scenarios. And why we like to do this is that, let's say, okay, we'll set up a LinkedIn profile, and this LinkedIn profile will be from someone we'll basically give you a LinkedIn profile from an existing LinkedIn profile from a member of our team. This LinkedIn profile has been around for a long time. LinkedIn has no problems with it. And what we will do is we'll optimize it to your campaign. So we'll give him a name. I don't know, let's say George, or I don't know, it could be Martha in this case. We'll say that Martha, and we'll give them a relevant role title for your company. So you can say that he is or she is a BDR for Iris in this case. We'll backdate it a bit so that it doesn't seem suspicious that someone who just now started working with your company is reaching out on your behalf. So we'll set up these things. We'll start reaching out. We'll make the most possible amount of connections per month. We will send up to 1,000 messages per month, which is the limit before LinkedIn starts flagging suspicious activity. And then we're also very big on organic growth. So we will engage, and I mean, by engage, I say comment, like, share on the posts of your company. We'll post on your behalf. And most importantly, we will engage with posts of relevant members of the community. And we do this basically to make sure that we can optimize and reach as many people as we can organically, because reaching out to people by messages can only get you so far. But once you start maximizing this organic reach, then you can really expand. And this is something that we do to kind of differentiate ourselves a bit from the rest of the agencies. So this would be LinkedIn. But the reason why we like to use the other channels, because okay, we start with LinkedIn, we started sending out messages, we get good responses. What will we do? What can we do next? We'll set another Martha email. It will be a similar domain to yours, but not exactly the same, probably because of like brand reputations and everything that comes with that. So we'll have also a Martha email that we'll then use to follow up on the prospects that we've gained on LinkedIn. So we'll send them an email say like, hey, this is Martha here. We've been speaking on LinkedIn. I just wanted to walk you a bit more through our prices, our product, all of that, or how everything works, to make sure that the client is well informed about everything. And once we get a positive response from the emails, then we can also then follow up with a call. Say, hey, we've been chatting. My name is Martha. I can see that I can have an appointment available for next Monday at 12. Let's say, would you be interested in having a quick chat? And by using the 3 channels, what we can guarantee is that the leads are as warm, as qualified, and as ready to engage as possible. Because I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is that if we're going to give you leads, we want them to be as relevant as possible, obviously. So we want them to be informed about the price, the product, and that if they're going to sit down to have a conversation with you, they're going to be actually wanting to be there and informed about everything that is going on, if that makes sense. And this is why we like to use the 3 channels. And I mean, I said LinkedIn, email, calls. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that. We can do calls, email, LinkedIn. This is something that then we'll, as the campaign progresses, we'll figure out what the best method is, and we'll then ascertain what the best order is and what channel works best and what not, if that makes sense. So this is how we can add the most value possible, and this is why we like to use the 3 channels. And I mean, I don't know if you've had more of these calls, these discovery calls, but we tend to be one of the few agencies that actually do the 3. Usually they either do LinkedIn, LinkedIn and cold email, or LinkedIn and calls, or just the 2 of them. But the 3 of them, they usually don't do as much.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It
Mm.
definitely does sound like by the time they get to us, they'll be
Exactly.
interested, which is
This
the main, obviously.
this would, I mean, this sometimes work against us in the sense that maybe we won't provide you with as many leads as some other company, because obviously the way we do it, we qualify them so much that by the time like they start dropping out along the process sometimes. But the leads that we give to you, we can make sure that they are there for a reason, that they want to move forward, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
in terms of numbers, we might fall a bit short, but it's because our numbers are more relevant than the others that say they promised that to give you 25, 30, 40, 50 leads, but then they get there, they either not show up or they're actually not interested, and they end up not converting, if that makes sense.
yeah, for sure. Okay, well, that's really helpful.
Mm.
That's really helpful. Okay. I'll have a think about it, and I'll talk to the sales team, obviously. And I'll be in touch, obviously.
Perfect. I mean, I don't know if you have any more questions while we're here.
I don't think so while we're here. I think so with your leads,
Mhm.
where do you sort of put them,
Store
I
them.
guess?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, that is a good. I mean, I'll just walk you through the whole process so that you leave here with a full and clear mental picture of how it would work. So, I mean, I think it's also important to mention that we are a pay-as-you-go service. So, I mean, there's no contracts, there's no anything. We don't want you to be tied to us by a contract that you don't want to be in. If you're working with us, we want it to be because you're happy and you want to be with us, if that makes sense. So even though we're a pay-as-you-go service, we do recommend that if you're going to run a campaign with us, you run it for 3 months at least, because I mean, the first month is going to be setting up. Basically, we will set up the LinkedIn profile, we'll write the copy for the emails, we'll write the scripts for the calls, and this usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks. And even though you should already start seeing some leads coming in by the end of the first month, it will definitely not be a good example of what the first month would be. But the second month would be then a month of adjustments and tweaks and just improvement where there's room to improve. So basically, we will provide you with scripts from the call so you can see how it's going. We'll provide you examples for the emails. We'll basically be a lot of back and forth to see where we can improve. And then by the third month, we'll be full steam ahead. We'll have a full, clear understanding of how everything is working, what works best, like what channel is working better, and we can pivot towards that channel, obviously, and double down on that channel. And then from the third month onwards, we'll be operating at full steam ahead. And as I said, this would be the monthly price would be 5,500, but because for the first 3 months we are not operating at full capacity, at our full potential, then it obviously also doesn't make sense to charge at full potential and the full price. So what we do, and as a token of our understanding, is that if you do choose to pay for the 3 months up front, we make it $5,000 a month. So it would be £15,000 instead of £16,500, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and then, I mean, if all of this sounds good to you, then how we would do it is I would send you a payment link. It will be a Stripe payment link that you can pay online. And once you process the payment, you would be automatically sent a onboarding form. This onboarding form is said to be quite painfully long, but it's for the sake of the campaign. We'll just ask you everything that basically we've been speaking here. Who's your target audience? Who is, like, basically everything, so we can fully understand your campaign. And then we would have a quick onboarding call. This call, as I said, we're quite big on this on strategy, so it would be more of a strategy call where we'd go over your onboarding form and outline the absolute perfect strategy for your campaign. So we'd discuss what industries we can chase, what channels we will use, basically make sure that we have the best strategy for your campaign. And then after this, we're pretty much ready to go. We'd create a WhatsApp group, and we work a lot with WhatsApp business, because the communication is very easygoing, and it would be yourself, myself, and the relevant members of the team. And then in there, you can just, if you have any questions, you can drop your questions. If you have any questions for you can also drop a question for you. And in this group, we would send you this was a big circle to come back to your question. So basically, in this group, we would send you weekly reports. We would send you basically updates on how the campaign is going. They can be daily, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever you prefer. And in this campaign, we will also put our sheets with all the. We work with Google Sheets and spreadsheets, because they are the easiest to integrate with third-party CRMs. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of using our own, that sometimes can cause a bit of friction, we just use spreadsheets, because then you can just upload it to your CRM if you have one, and keep everything there. You'd have access. We'll filter it in terms of leads, the channels, everything would be stated there, and you can have access to it. And if you have any questions, you can drop us there. If you'd like to change something, we can also just change it there. So this is a bit of insight of how we would work.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because we use Google, so Google Sheets. I mean, in terms of leads, we use HubSpot, but Google Sheets does integrate with that quite well. So
Exactly. That's exactly why I use it.
yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Well, that's all my questions.
Perfect. And then if that's all your questions, let me ask you then 2 questions. Then what would, in this case, and given the campaign that we'll be running, then what would success then look like to you? Because obviously we want to work together to get you to a place of success. So in this case, what then success constitutes you? Is it getting X amount of leads? Is it like the X amount of deals? Reaching a certain monetary value? Like what is the end goal?
I think, I mean, obviously helping us reach our targets,
Okay.
but I think for now, I think it's more about just getting more leads that are actually interested. I
Okay.
think in terms of actually having success with you as a company and sort of proving that this is worth it,
Mm,
it would just be having, like, because I don't really want to say a number, because as you say, it doesn't it's irrelevant if they're
yeah,
not gonna then
not
follow through.
qualified. Yeah.
Exactly. but because I think a big thing we're working on is qualifying leads,
Okay.
because we've got so many that just die out,
Yeah, no,
and they're
that's not
just
good.
going to us. Like, and it's just that's such a waste of resources and
Mm,
time.
100%.
Um,
I had a call with a lady yesterday that she said she was with an agency for a year and a half, and for a
mm,
year and a half, they didn't qualify any leads. They didn't convert a single lead. They just kept getting leads and nothing came through. And then I explained it to her that maybe sometimes numbers don't mean as much as quality, and then she understood. And I mean, let's see. But I mean, I think that the same reasoning applies here. So I
mm,
mean,
yeah,
but yeah,
exactly.
I
Uh,
think that with our process, we became quite good at qualifying the leads when and making them relevant when they get to your calendar. If that makes sense.
mm, yeah, yeah. Do you have a second question?
Yes. Sorry. No, I was just going to ask then, in terms of timeline on your end, what do the immediate steps then look like? Is it something that you still have to discuss with someone? Is it something that then you're looking to start as soon as possible, in a week, 2 weeks, a month, or?
So it's something we're going to have to discuss, because
Mm,
there's sort of two camps right now. One is camp outsource BDR, one is not. So
okay.
essentially, we're gathering information right now.
And which camp are you on?
I'm on outsource BDR,
Oh,
don't
sorry.
worry.
Sorry. Okay.
Um,
Perfect.
but yeah, but I mean, it's not like, I think it's just because I don't think it's urgent. Like, we need to make a decision right now, but it
Mm,
is like it's like a Q1
okay.
situation to resolve, basically.
Okay.
Like, latest by near the end of Q1.
Okay. So
Um,
about a month.
yeah.
Yeah, about a month. Okay. Sounds good.
So it needs to be sort of resolved and in place before
The end of the
that,
month.
basically.
And if it was up to you, then how do you feel about the how a strategy? If how you feel like how are you feeling about this call? Do you think it would be a good strategy or
I think it would, yeah. I
perfect?
think
Makes
this
me
makes
happy.
sense. Um, so I will, yeah, I'll be
Perfect.
pitching it to them.
Perfect. Sounds good. Sounds good. I don't know.
It
I
just
mean,
depends on what solution they choose, really.
sweet. Sounds good. I mean, I'm assuming that you probably also still have a few calls with all the agencies and
Mm,
probably if you
yeah.
need help putting them down, give me a call and I'll call them.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know what they're saying.
Perfect. No, but
Okay,
sounds
thank
good.
you very much.
I'll send you the proposal, everything on the email. And I mean, I hope you don't mind. I forgot to mention, but these calls are automatically recorded. It's not that we do anything with them. It's just that if you want, I can include the recording on the call so that you can show your superiors or anyone that you want, or even for yourself, if you have any questions that you want to look back on, you have the option to have a look at this.
Cool. Thank you.
Perfect. I mean, let me. By the way, before we leave, let me just confirm your email. Is it? It's Martha. mm, Help me here.
Dot.
Dot
Yeah, dot Garrity.
Garethy. Okay, front Martha. Dot Garethy. Garethy. Shaped by Iris. The Iris by Iris.com. Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect. Makes sense. Makes sense. And I mean, I don't know if you're on WhatsApp on this number, but I'm also welcome to send you a message on WhatsApp, and then we can open that channel of communication if you just have any quick questions that we can answer on WhatsApp. As I said, we work a lot with WhatsApp, so I can message you there, and if you have any quick questions, then you can ask there as well.
that's fine. Yeah. Cool.
Perfect. Sounds great. Thank you so much, Martha. Have a good Wednesday, and we'll chat soon.
Too.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.